Et l'idée, en fait, de ce film, c'est de s'inscrire aussi dans un programme plus large, qui est un programme d'art et d'échange avec des écoles, avec des associations, avec des artistes locaux. Et John a été aussi sélectionné pour amener de l'art contemporain, en fait, et pouvoir, avec DNA, qui est une version contemporaine, finalement, de ce qu'il a ressenti en pensant à Montgomery, c'est-à-dire des atomes, des choses qui s'entremêlent et l'union entre les gens, entre aussi Urban Art Fair et MGM, Montgomery Art Project, pardon. Voilà, je vous laisse regarder le film et ça dure 15 minutes et après il y aura une petite intervention des personnes concernées, c'est-à-dire l'artiste, les personnes qui ont encadré le projet et une petite surprise aussi. Voilà. Bon visionnage, pardon. On va remettre les tables et accueillir les artistes. Ah, si ça remarche. Alors, je précise quand même, l'artiste ne le fera pas lui-même. Les couleurs sont pas exactement les bonnes. Là, le mur est plus beau en vrai.
Wait. See.
Come here, guys.
Scan. Flash. What use it?
First, the artist.
Where's Cup? Hello. Sure. Thoughts and wells. I don't in the pajama. Use it, but thing. But. He did. Wow. He can. He was that. Just this family. So you don't tell me not about that. Hey. She'll play for them like everybody feels at home here. Yeah. You get silent. Yes. He's. No, it's door calling up.
Schwartz? Okay. Okay, so thank you everybody for coming here. I'm really I never seen this version of the film, and as you can see, the whole cast is right here. All the players from Alabama, they came out here, so I want to say thank you to them, because it's all. Yeah. Because definitely they live in an incredible, moving place, especially for what I witnessed there. In French is "Je appris de grosses claques," because their sense of community is at another level, especially what Kevin is doing, and it makes me feel like a little ant compared to what Kevin is doing out in Alabama. It's like so generous, it's so sincere, and what Sarah is trying to build in Alabama and trying to bridge so many things together. It's like with art, and because art it saves people's lives, that's for sure. What do you think, Kevin? I let Kevin talk. He's a better talker than me.
Thanks, man. First of all, we just want to once again just publicly acknowledge you and thank you for the time that you spent with us. We have a lot of artists in Montgomery, but always to bring, when we bring people from the outside to actually connect with the community, and that's what you did. You just didn't come and paint a wall. You literally connected with the community, not only in the downtown area, but also coming to our community, just engaging with the people who live there and people in the broader community that came in to be a part of that day. And so that was special. But to me, not to prolong it, because I don't know how much time we have, but I believe art, art is life, whether it's visual art, dancing, whatever. Everyone in the world either active participants in it or engaging in it in some sort of way. And I think universally across the board, art is something that's life-giving. And when you sit down long enough, think about it and think about how it saved a lot of our lives. We all have our individual stories and connections with art. So yeah, that's what I think about it. You're right.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Kevin. Yeah, and Leaux, now you always have something to say, Leaux. You can invent. So what do you got to say, Leaux? We're just gonna listen to Leaux now. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Very good. So I have a personal belief about the role that art plays in my life. And I have to say 100% agree with what Kevin said about art is life-giving. So in the work that I do, personally, I bring life to those who have already passed on, my ancestors, my loved ones who are on the other side and watching. And so I always say that art provides that window for those who are no longer with us. It provides them a sense of future because we are the future and we're the ones creating, and putting that paint to the canvas or pen to paper or song to mic. Just breathing life into those inanimate objects is bringing life to those who are no longer animate. So, yeah.
It's true.
I just want to say is it very loud?
No.
Okay. Yeah, what was really special about with Montgomery, because we were first there, like the project started in 2018. Jacob, with the son of Sarah, has been with us since the beginning, and what's really powerful is like the way that people provide places to create, because there I feel like an artist is not just being an artist for yourself, it's to help others becoming artists. And for instance, Kalanji is also having an organization that provides space for a lot of artists in the community, and it's full of artists in Montgomery. So I think that's really important because it's very collective, and that's what was the most striking to me, is that collaboration, and it was no competition, it was just like helping each other. So I don't know if you want to talk a bit about the organization.
First of all, that was my first time seeing the film in its completed form. So congratulations, give yourselves a hand for like the work on the on the post-production side of things. My introduction to arts started middle school. I fell in love with storytelling. My medium is documentary storytelling. So for me, art and history, community building, I can't paint like these wonderful people. So I curate, and through curating exhibits, we use that as cultural organizing. So using art to tell stories, remembering places, people, things, impact, and also do that storytelling, influencing public opinion, bringing empathy to people's experiences. And so I understand that power of art. And, what I do is my position is to lead the space better than it was presented to me in Montgomery. There wasn't many opportunities, and especially to create the type of art that I felt that was important in our community. And so I started the organization to really just me and Kevin was working on, we were actually founding both of our organizations at the same time. So we obviously work hand in hand, but really to create a space for artists to build and be beautiful and contribute back to their communities and be impactful. So,
Excellent. And Jacob, you gotta say, what was your experience in going through this? Because you're like the middleman in this. I mean, you were incredible because you were in between everything, Jacob. You were like with the organization, and you were with the artists, and you were helping out. So what was your experience from it?
I would say the time that I've spent in Montgomery and witnessing the work that Kevin and Kalanji do has been transformative for me. Coming from a life in New York City and seeing a world so different from my own. But Kalanji said before that a big goal is to make Montgomery a better space. And the time I've spent there, what I've seen is the work that Kevin and Kalonji are doing and bringing in amazing artists like JonOne awakens the community. And you can see that through Crossroads, especially from a youth perspective, seeing how much younger kids and teenagers want to see this type of work happening and the way that it brings a quiet community to life. And that's what's been bringing me back there and has made these projects just so wonderful to witness.
So it must be incredible for you to be here at Urban Art Fair because, you're coming from Montgomery and then you're seeing all this. I think this is the connection, is the Urban Art Fair because, I see my friend right here. Give it up to Core right here. Arbitrator Core, right? Stand up, Core. Stand up, Core. Yeah, arbitrator Core in the place to pay. Yeah. So me and Core, we grew up together in New York. So, New York. But Core comes from the Bronx. I come from the Washington Heights. And what's interesting to have Core in front of us is that this is where the connection comes in, Kevin. You'll understand later. Me and Core, Core before me, he was the pioneer of, let's say, all of this that's going on right now. It was this man right here, Core. Did you know that? Oh, yeah, so Core was like the seed of this, because he was the first generation of artists or urban artists to come from, let's say, impoverished neighborhoods, so like the ghetto, in other words, right? You came from what projects? What? Metro? Mitchell Projects, yeah, the notorious Mitchell Projects. Now, who comes out from Mitchell Projects? Like A1? Toxic?
24/7 Spies, music groups. I'm not sure how many people know that.
Rod Strickland, the basketball player.
Dedrick Irving, Kyrie Irving. It's so listed law.
Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving. His father lived in my building.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
Irving. The one that played for the Nets? Yeah. Oh, wow.
His father lived in my building.
I didn't know that. Whoa. That changes everything. So, So Core was the first generation of artists to come out here. And then, like Core, I looked up always to Core and A1 and so he came out here and then he gave me the idea to come out here to follow him to Europe because I guess we didn't really have a voice in the States. We weren't really recognized for the talent we had. Am I saying correctly, Core?
You know what happened?
Come up here, Core, man. Sit down. Come on, Core. Yeah, come on, Core, man. You understand why I'm getting up to Core. You understand, because this is really deep. This is deep. Sit down, Core. Oh, you got to... All right. So you got to explain to us, Core, your voyage, Core. What the idea you were saying that you came out here for what reason?
Well, what I was trying to say was, good evening, everybody. And amazing people. I just met you yesterday, but very, 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 very moving and impressive. What I wanted to say was, back in the early 80s, Europe was coming to New York to purchase artwork from this phenomenon that was developing in the city called graffiti art. From 77 till about 82, there was a lot of people coming in. And around 1980, that's when a lot of students were coming from Europe to document and follow artists like Keith Haring. The films are all coming out, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and also to see what was happening with this hip hop culture. Excuse me. And DJ Africa Bambaataa did a world tour, Planet Rock tour, which brought hip hop to Europe. But there was a period in time when the collectors stopped coming to New York. So what do? Do you stay in New York and wait for them to come, or do you go to where they are? It was a logical decision. For me, excuse me.
Yeah, there you go. They got some water, Core.
It's cold here. Just coming back from a hot climate.
Hey. Lucky. Who said that? Oh, yeah.
So what was interesting was, as you know, I mean, we were sitting in Suzuka Hilliard's gallery after the opening, and you were sitting next to me at the table. You was like, yo, Cor, I'm thinking about going to Paris. I was like, go. What are you waiting for? But you know, it's interesting to see that something that we did just for fun, it wasn't about money. We were not trying to monetize what we were doing. It was just something that you had to do. You wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than you. It was inevitable that if you just keep going, you're going to eventually leave your neighborhood. And when you leave your neighborhood, you're going to cross into another state. And then ultimately, when you started traveling abroad, we were not seen as vandals when we came to Europe, because the first places we were exhibiting were in what we can consider blue chip galleries and museums. So the art form was seen as art, not as vandalism. So you weren't having to have a debate about, are you an artist or are you not an artist? You were an artist. So imagine a 20-year-old person traveling abroad. There's nothing on the wall. You have a marker, you have a spray can. You're going to start to do what you do. And for me, it was Belgium. For you, it was France. For Quick, it was the Netherlands. And yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, how many years ago was that? That was like 30.
Well, the first group show in Belgium was in '84. My first solo was in '85.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. So that's, you know, but what was interesting also was the fact that we were like minorities coming from, like, you know, Dominican, blacks, and we were just coming out here because we were really we were looked as vandals in the States. So there was like, we had this big wall in front of us in order for us to access to things. And then here we were more accepted. And that's what made us, it made us grow as artists, because we had more opportunities here. And that's how it all started for us, you know. You know, and France also has a long history of accepting, like, let's say, Josephine Baker, and
jazz musicians, and Nina Simone and Miles Davis. They all hung out here. So that was the whole connection, and that's why today you're able to see big gallerists like Magda Danis. You know, there she goes. She's hiding right there, and she's like, I know Magda since she's 16 years old. She's 20 now, so she's forever young. So, you know, there's people that are very passionate towards this urban art form expression, because it's something that talks to us, you know. That's why Kevin is doing what he's doing, you know. So, but you know, another thing which is really important, I mean, everybody's here because of this gentleman sitting right here, because he had the insight, the wisdom, and the drive to put together an art fair, which is not an easy underdoing. I mean, it's a tremendous job. No, you say it's okay, you're very humble. But I remember in the early days, you were talking about it, and look what it's become.
So, you're amazing. No, really. So we started a project, and Yannick has been following us since the beginning. So we first did actually a project with GR, which was Inside Out. But then he proposed Opar, and you're like, it would be amazing that he comes there. Then you came with John, and like really since the beginning, you kind of like you helped. I mean, you also the organization, and really, Sarah, Jacob, we want to tell you how much you mean to us and how much you did incredible things for us.
That's really.
It's amazing. And yeah, no, but definitely. And we maybe have I don't know if there's questions, but otherwise we have a little surprise. If you like.
One more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think the film is incredible. You know, of course, it's because there's a really big star there. It's, you know, it's an incredible film. You know, I think it deserves definitely an Oscar because it's about me, you know. Now, but I don't like to do things that are like, you know, one shot. You know, that's like one shot. Is so many people do one things one shot. I like to build things. So this is a question to Jacob and Kevin and Leaux and everybody. What's the next step for you guys? I mean, are you planning on bringing other artists there, doing other walls? What's the next step as far as, because you see how art is incredible, it does things, and you know, I see what it did in Miami, you know, with art walls and how it rejuvenates the community and everything. So what's the next step? Is it like, are you guys, you know, what's going on?
So I haven't mentioned very much the organization, but it's called MAP, and it's an organization that's trying to create a bridge between different places and like helping artists also to have a wall, because Montgomery, Alabama is an amazing city with amazing walls. So yeah, we have other artists. The idea is to do it forever and ever. So we have an artist who's gonna come in November, and maybe I can announce it. It's Monkey Bird. They're amazing too. But yeah, we would love to keep working with the artists that we already worked with. So I mean, we would love to have you again, and the idea is to have this continuous relationship and to have this dialogue that will keep going on. So we're super open to any project or ideas you would have as well, you know? Yeah, of course. We talked about it yesterday. It would be super amazing.
You know, after I did this incredible wall, you know, it's like the wall I did is absolutely incredible because I did it. You know, after I did that wall, like a couple of months later, I seen on the TV, you know, I went down by the riverbank, and so I see there's still a lot of work to do in Montgomery. You know, there's still some unfinished business down there. You know, you know, yeah. You know the video I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Yeah, it was just down by the, and then like a couple of months later. Maybe a year later, I seen that this girl tried to burn Martin Luther King's house, something like that. Yeah. So it's still a place boiling with energy and unfinished. You know, so what's going on, like, you know, artistically wise, as far as the crossroads and.
All right. So aside from you know, you all coming in and MAPMGM's role and what's happening, I would say Kalonji's done a really good job with 21 Dreams at assembling artists together who were a lot, you know, further along in their craft. But when I came on the scene with the King Kanvas, I said, how do I create an organization or create some energy around building people up? Those artists who were sort of like me, those who were told in high school to pick a real major, get a real job. You can't make any money doing art. So I went to school for mechanical engineering instead, right? Because well-meaning adults told me that I needed to take a different route at that time. But later in life, I got back into it. So I'm also looking for that person who allowed life to happen and who understood that, yo, I need to get back into art because my life depends on it. Also, I'm constantly looking for that person who is a creative that don't know that they're creative. Someone who needs a cheerleader, someone who needs to be inspired to create. That was also me because my first time painting was actually 11 years ago. And so now that we have a lot of artists just doing different things in the city, I feel like we are behind the rest of the world artistically in a lot of ways, even though Montgomery itself is a spot that basically impacted the entire world. Due to racial terror, everything that happened during the civil rights movement, we became stagnant. But now we have a lot more progression. And I don't think the goal is to catch up to everyone, what everyone else is doing. But I think the goal is to constantly progress. So in that progression, partnering with MAPMGM, constantly bringing in our resident artists, but also that locally, one of the things that we're doing right now in my neighborhood, which is the Washington Park community. It's funny, you're from Washington Heights. Yeah. And so you came to the Washington Park community to do the ground art with the community. One of the things we're doing now is making sure that we make our neighborhood colorful. You were a part of that. And we have some things coming up dealing with a mural trail on our street in Oak Street. Oak Street it's known. Nina Simone was on our street during the 7th of Montgomery March, what we call the Stars for Freedom rally. A lot of movie stars, actors, and comedians doing the 7th of Montgomery March for voters' rights was in our community. That's why that community is so significant. But that community economically died whenever the construction of the interstate came through, right? And had no off-ramps in that particular neighborhood, so people were able to bypass it. So our goal now is to make that area colorful, and, you know, we got in some grant funds in order to be able to do that this summer. But I'm basically commissioning local artists to take up vacant lots with privacy fence structures, because we have no buildings, no commercial structures on that street, very limited commercial structures because of the residential property. And we want to make that a spot where people from all over the world come. Because even now, with the mural that we have, the Welcome to West Side Montgomery mural, people come from all over the world to see it, take a picture in front of it. They don't know what neighborhood they're in, but when I see them, we're able to engage them and just kind of inform them on the history of that particular community. So we have a lot of stuff coming up, man. There's just too much to talk about on stage. Sorry about that.
I know there's another movie coming up after, so maybe we can, if you feel ready to do it. And also check the pictures, because the colors of the wall is not like that. It's very different online, in real life, but also you can check online to see the colors. So come and see it. Yeah, it's copies also.
So what is next for me is taking those principles and values that I learned during this experience with everyone and simply just applying them to my life. And so really just that art of problem solving, mapping out where you want to go artistically. I can apply that to my life, and if I have no control and I feel like I have no direction, that's okay. Because in the end, there's going to be something beautiful that comes from it. Also, taking time to rest and reconnect. That was my first time meeting you. And I'm going to say in this form, my first time meeting you, but definitely in other forms, no way. But that time that you dedicated to rest and reconnect allowed for a new connection to form, a new friendship, a new familyship. And so that would have never happened had that not been one of your principles or one of your principles or all of our principles. So I feel like if we take those things and apply them to ourselves on a personal level, then we can go out and start making that change. But the change really comes from within. That's true. That will always be true. If you start with you, then it'll be your essence. So it can't stop. But if you don't start with you, you'll always be forcing, and you'll try and you'll always feel like you're failing. But when it comes from within you, you'll never fail. Even if it doesn't feel like you're progressing, it's happening because you embody it. So that's what's next, embodying just the art of forgiveness, problem solving, and just being human. That's what I gained from the experiences. Wow, like I'm just a small human in comparison to this wall. That's, yeah.
So Leaux has a surprise for us. She's gonna perform a piece for us, which we are very lucky to see her doing that.
All right. So let me see everyone. All right, everyone raise both hands up. Let's see them. All right. So before I start, we're just gonna do a collective breath. So keep those arms up. We're gonna inhale on 3, and then we're gonna exhale on 3. All right, you ready? I'm gonna hold my hand up and I'm gonna do the numbers, okay? And let's begin. That's good. All right, we're all connected. That's amazing. So I wrote this poem. It doesn't have a title, but maybe you guys can help me title this poem. If anyone knows me, I carry around 1 million notebooks. This is my life. So excuse me while I find it. All right, are we all here? Can you guys hear me? All right, awesome. Connection. Discovering, looking, finding, pruning, squeezing, barely breathing, crying, trying, maybe flying, shifting, drifting, only if I could change my perspective. From survival to progress, to connect, means an understanding that lust and greed make the perfect family, but yet and still dysfunctional. Like how this loss found home in my grief, even though one was born before the other. How does that happen? It's called connection. I named her properly. I gave her food. When they left her out in cold, hungry and lost, connection. I say the name as if it means everything to me. As real as fingerprint, as real as DNA, as real as my identity, connection. Neurons may fire as nightfall, but remind me to rise up every time, to survive, to progress, to remember humanity, connection, discovering, looking, finding, pruning, squeezing, barely breathing, crying, trying, maybe flying, shifting, drifting, only if we find connection. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Oh, maar jij er een spoon in had.
Eh ben, merci à tous. Je n'étais pas parti pour dire un mot de la fin, mais maybe in English. So yeah, for me it was also an amazing experience to come in Montgomery for the first time, and it's also because of Sophie. She said she doesn't have a job, but finally she created one. She doesn't earn money from it, but she's doing a lot. She brought us together, so maybe big up to Sophie. And